Hello, guys. Welcome to my first official video of this live stream. Welcome to the Microwave Cakes here on YouTube. Today, we're going to be discussing on Chelsea transfer and other club-related transfers. So you're welcome. I have two guests here on my live. First is Oga Kesta from he's based in the US and he also coaches academy team. Oga Kesta, I beg, get me here, my people.
My people. So my name is Kesta. So I'm used to the term soccer. So please bear with me when I jump between soccer and football. So I'm a soccer coach. I coach with River City St. Louis. I'm with under 14, under 15 boys for now, but I'm trying to go further in the age group setting. But for now, I decided to just be with the under 14 and under 15. We're here to talk about football, about soccer. You right now, you better start subscribing. You better start following us on this new thing we are doing. So we're here to talk about football. I'm a Chelsea fan, so I need to talk more about Chelsea. In as much as I like the game, I can talk more about every other club. But today, I just don't want to divert. I hope I don't banter us now, but let's see how it goes.
I did now. We're here.
Straight bullet.
So we also have another Chelsea fan also in our midst today. Miss Christian Ayanwon is he used to be my roommate back then in school, like 9-10 years ago. So Christian, please help me greet everybody and you're welcome.
Yeah, good day everyone. Morning, afternoon, night, from anywhere you're watching us. Yeah. Na me, Christian, Michael friend. Now my best friend anyways, and we are here to talk about football. We're here to talk about, I think the transfers and the outgoing, incoming, and all. If we go banter, no wahala, we go banter too. That one save day.
So we also have Oga Apostle in our midst is the pioneer of football in Pidgin. I used to join his live back then, so I would say he actually inspired me to do this. I'm very happy that he's in our midst today. So Oga Apostle, you're welcome.
Well, thanks for having me, brother, and it's an honor to be here. I think this will be the very first stream you are streaming on the channel, but it's good to be here on the channel. Respect Coach Kesta, my Oga, my Padi. I know that I will banter him on today's show, but good to be on the channel today. And also, Christian, nice meeting you. Good to be on the channel. I think I just finished a stream on my channel. I greet you, Baba.
Okay.
I just finished a stream on my channel talking about Chelsea's transfer, the incomings, the outgoings. But it's a thing of joy that I'm also, doing a back-to-back stream. I'm coming on Mikewave's channel, and I'll bring my, undiluted perspective. I will come with my Arsenal bias. I would also, try to keep these Chelsea fans. I'll try to be the balance on this stream to keep these Chelsea fans under lock and keys onto this stream. But good to have me on the channel, Mike.
It's okay, Kima.
Well, good to have you.
Thank you, they start now.
So good to have you guys here. One thing about this transfer window is it started slow. Some teams actually did their business early, and it seemed like Chelsea, because this Chelsea team as a whole, it consists of so many young players, in defense, in midfield, in attack. This particular Chelsea team is actually built on the core of having young players in the team. And this transfer window has actually shown that these Chelsea owners are doing things differently. They are not of the fact that they want to go for experienced players. They are based on young players. And that's what we've seen in recent time. And we Chelsea fans, all right, we are not really surprised anymore because we are already used to this fact that Chelsea owners are, of the opinion that they probably need young players to actually drive their projects. So to you, Oga Kesta, concerning the signing of this young core of players, do you think this particular style of this particular project or this particular structure of this Chelsea transfers, do you think is actually sustainable, going forward?
If it were to be before now, I would say no. But I think PSG has shown us that the transfer of this young crop of players.
Yeah.
It can really work, you know. But again, let's not forget that Caicedo is no longer a young player. Kopama is no longer a young player. If because of their age, we can say they are young players, but what they have put in, Caicedo has played is an experienced player. Even Palmer, this is Palmer's second season in top season in top.
Strong like that.
So I guess
think we are
he's
losing
having-
Coach Kester.
Yeah, I think he's
We're
having
losing Coach
network
Kester.
issues. So
Yeah.
Christian, so what do you think
Is
about
it?
this Chelsea whole structure and this whole transfer strategy?
Chelsea structure. I think we're on the right direction. You know, we're on the right track. For my own end, though, we're on the right track. But we are a team, or let me put it this way, we are a club with a lot of pride. You get me? We have this, you know, we have this tendency of winning titles. You know, we are very, very good at it. But the way me I'm seeing it from the manager, it be like saying a business they just want to do. But at the end, anyways, na business be football, but na business they want to do. I don't really like the inexperienced players them whether they bring come. I don't see them to, you know, give us this, give us the glory anytime soon. Let me put it that way. You know, I don't see them giving us this glory anytime soon. Now waiting me, I feel. But so far, our transfer directors, they really try. I dey tell you, our incoming na very, very potential squad. We dey try create, we dey try build, but we dey try, sha. We dey try. Now waiting me, I see be that we dey try. But as for the football aspect, I don't see us, you know, achieving that glory anytime soon.
That's the very
All right.
realistic Chelsea fan there.
Yeah. So Orakesta, good to have you back. So what were you saying concerning this whole Chelsea transfer strategy, you know, the signings and everything?
Okay, I was talking about experience, okay? Because right now, Palmer has put more, Caicedo has put more. A lot of them are not as inexperienced as before now, you know. So, what I can only say about Chelsea is that I gave hope on Chelsea long ago, you know, based on what they are doing. Before now, before they came to get Chelsea, before these blue coat people came for Chelsea, they said something about they were going to build from where Abramovich stopped. So if I'm to ask myself, are they doing what Abramovich did? I would say no. Because you know Abramovich time, they bought players. One thing I always tell people is that every club have their standard. The Chelsea standard, once upon a time we had Anelka, Didier Drogba in the same Chelsea. Then when you push down to midfield, we have Essien, Mikel, Lampard, Ballack, still in same Chelsea. But now you can't even talk about that right now in Chelsea. The best player today in Chelsea, I don't think that player will even be as good as the bench we had then in Chelsea. That will tell you how far Chelsea has dropped as an institution or as a football club. So these players they are buying right now, if you ask me, I'll tell you the truth. I'm not in support of it, but what can I say? My decision counts for nothing. So we're going to take it the way it is. If I'm to tell you right now that Chelsea will win the league next season, I'm lying to myself. But we're going to work with what we have. The Caicedo, the Palmers. We're going to work with what we have for now. Then fast forward to the players we just bought now. The João Pedro, Gittens, and I think I heard we're going for Kudus, which I'm not too sure. For the
So
João Pedro,
we'll get to that.
Chelsea has not dropped the interest.
okay.
So we'll
For
get
the
to that that part of the segment.
So
Let me also hear from Oga, of course, concerning because recently, initially, Arsenal tried this whole young players kind of structure. You know, during
yeah,
Arsene Wenger's term, I think 18 years ago. Now, I don't know as an Arsenal fan now. Do you
Yeah.
think that was a successful period for you? And do you think this particular style now, that Chelsea are trying to, actually implement the structure and everything? Do you think this would actually work comparing to what Arsenal did in the past concerning signing the young
Yeah.
talents, signing young players? The trophies was not forthcoming at the time. So currently, right now,
Mm.
do you think this particular structure, going by what Arsenal did in the past, do you think this is different from that one, or do you think this would actually succeed at Chelsea?
Well, I think for every transfer strategy, there are the pros, there are the cons, there are the advantages and the disadvantages. I think this approach of Chelsea, first, that was why I said my brother Anyanwu Christian, Oga Christo, because I think Oga Christo is a very realistic Chelsea fan. I think he has accepted the reality, the arch reality of where the club currently is right now, and also accepted this new ownership and their new transfer regime and what they are trying to do. Because in years past, we saw Chelsea getting the experienced players to get Chelsea over the finish line, but we are seeing a new ownership that have come with something very different. They have come with, the approach where they want to get young players who would potentially be at their prime, getting their best years at Chelsea, and these players would also potentially get a resale value for them. But with respect to Arsenal, I think um I would want to point out, one of the difference in situation. We were forced into that kind of transfer strategy because when we moved from Highbury to the Emirates Stadium, we were in a difficult financial situation. We were in a hole, as people would say in Pidgin, everywhere tied apart for us that time. The team, Iholo Kara, is strong, Kakaraka. So now that kind of difficult situation will be there as a then. So, but I think over time, the Arsenal's financial situation has evolved. We have moved from a club who were in a very tight financial situation into a club that could potentially spend 40 million and 40 plus million on the likes of Mesut Ozil, on the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. As at when we got this player, they were marquee signing. But I think when we moved, we had no other choice. We had to spend next to nothing on young players because that was our reality. That was our harsh reality. The money was not available to go out there and spend 30 plus million and spend 40 million or 50 million like Chelsea did when Chelsea signed Fernando Torres all the way from Liverpool. So I think it was a similar kind of transfer situation, but we were forced. But Chelsea now are not forced. Chelsea now are faking it as this is a footballing and business kind of strategy where they want to get players. And also, I think one of the angle we also look at this we need to look at this from is the fact that with this kind of transfer strategy, you would not tend to pay massive wage fee. You will not tend to pay, your wage structure will be within a certain amount, a certain figure. And if we also look at what Chelsea are trying to do now, they're trying to, clear out some of these players that also have potential high wages, because that's one of the advantages of this structure. Because when you get young players from relatively unknown clubs, relatively unknown leagues, or mid-table clubs from the Premier League, you will not put them on massive fee. Even though they will be coming, you will also be giving them that increment, but it will not be a big fee that you would potentially pay for a what's it called, a marquee signing. So in that respect, Chelsea are trying to look at how they will keep their wage structure as small as possible while keeping the team still very competitive. But with a structure like this, you also need your scouts. I think also need to get it right with your scouting system and all of that. So, but I think, yes, it is very similar with what we did when we moved from Highbury to Emirates, when we're relying on young talent that we have spent, next to nothing sign-on fees for. But that also helped us with the respect of our wage structure. Our wage structure was relatively very low, relatively very small, because these players were not put on exorbitant or very big weekly wages. So that is also one angle we need to look at it from. I think the Chelsea owners currently, they are not willing to pay any big player big money. They're not willing to pay anybody 300k or 350k from what they are doing. So that's also we need to look into that angle. But yes, it's very similar. But Chelsea are making this as a as a club decision, as a business strategy, as a sporting decision. But Arsenal were forced into that because the money was not there. The money no day, as we say it in pidgin. But I think different kind of situation. But yes, very similar kind of transfer strategy from Arsenal and Chelsea, the current Chelsea team now.
Yeah, so yeah, you made mention of a whole lot of things concerning the strategy of Arsenal at the time. Arsenal had to go through that route because of the fact that they had to pay for the stadium, construction and everything, and it was sustainable for Arsenal at the time because it helps their capability and everything at the time. But one thing I noticed with this whole signing of the young player thing currently at Chelsea is initially with Arsenal was not giving exorbitant or too much what's it called, like too much contract length at the time. But right now with Chelsea are trying to secure their assets, thereby giving them a whole so long contract length, because Chelsea initially in the past we lost on Rudiger on a free. Chelsea lost Christensen on a free. Chelsea lost so many good talents on a free in the past. So probably they are trying to secure their assets currently. Now, Oga Kesa, do you think this particular strategy concerning contract length, do you think this is the right way to go? Because at the end of the day, sometimes, look at this Modric issue right now. Modric has been banned for drug-related issues and everything. Now, currently, if Modric decide not to leave Chelsea, the contract situation will still be, will still be there. The contract length will still be there. At the end of the day, Chelsea might have to pay him off, and thereby causing financial constraint on the club as a whole. So to you, Christian, now, do you think this particular strategy of giving players long-term contract, do you think is actually sustainable for Chelsea?
To me, everything they are doing, I tell you, these people are business mogul. They know what they are doing. For the business part, it's going to favor them, but it's not going. It's going to be a very, very. It's just as if you are tying a player down. To me, it's just as if you are tying a player down. Most of these guys want to explore. Yes, most of these guys do. Most of these players, what we don't know, that some they play for the badge, some they play for the badge. Some no really send the money like that, although money they involved. Some no really send money like that. But if you they talk about the lengthy contract, I they tell you now business, this one players no like them. I will tell you the truth. Players that play for the badge always want to be, renewing their contract. Money is never like the number one. Money no be the priority. But you they see this business mugu they always make it lengthy. They want make it long so that they go to see money. Imagine you paying a very good player 100, 120 for 7 years. You to reason them now for 7 years.
So the thing is that these guys, they get one particular strategy where they do them. That particular strategy is like once you perform very well during the length of this contract, you get an extension.
Increase your money.
And that extension actually gives you an increase in your wages. So this whole thing is based on the fact that you just have to perform well. Because look at when Palmer came to Chelsea. One season he did fantastic. His wages got increased at the time. So that's what probably they might be doing at this point. And also, if you qualify for Champions League, you get an increase 20% on your. So it's just a whole business strategy and everything.
No, you are wrong. You did wrong. You see that Palmer own, they no increase this thing. See, make I explain how this contract thing they do. And make I explain how this their contract they do. They go say 5 years, 2 years extra. You they get them. So you see that 2 years extra, if they go trigger them, they go increase them. Increase don't they the normal, they are now like contractual agreement. They don't know how they do them. So once a player perform where they don't see, say, this one a potential, this one a asset too. Meanwhile, they will can't trigger the remaining 2 years. Now, why you they see say most players they sign 5 years, 2 years plus 5, we go make him 7 years. You understand that kind of thing? So now so they been they do am. See like this Palmer own now. 1 year now, they don't increase they don't trigger that remaining 2 years. We go make him, we go tie him down for 5 years, 7 years, like that. So now so they be most of this thing, now when Perez I blame, now Real Madrid president I blame, sha. Now him cause all this thing. Now him.
So, Orakesta, what do you think?
So, I swear, I wasn't even listening because I was trying to handle family stuff.
Okay. I was actually talking about the contract length of players at Chelsea.
Okay.
This new structure, this new project, and do you think this contract length, based on the fact that Chelsea have actually lost players in the past on the free, do you think this particular strategy is actually sustainable to Chelsea? And do you think it will actually favor these core players and this whole business strategy and the project or in Chelsea currently?
Okay, you know what? Before I will say this, I'm very sorry. I don't have much time, but I will try to say this in a nutshell. There is nothing wrong with this because to begin with, whoever starts this contract level in Chelsea, these people are financial experts. Does that mean they can make mistake? Every human being is prone to make mistake. But the truth is, it's a very, very good strategy from the player side and from the Chelsea side. Let's say, for example, you signed a contract of 7 years, 120,000 pounds. So now, let's say as time goes on, you hit form, good player, and this and this and that. For you to ask for increment in your contract, it only comes in when you're 2 years to run out of your contract, meaning when Chelsea is about to renew your contract. That's the only time you can ask for extra money. Now, before then, let's say you hit form along the way, Chelsea can increase your contract by increasing with few wages, percentage, and the rest. Now your buyout clause might increase. That when other clubs come for you, Chelsea will be the one to gain. Now, the downside of it is this. Let's use Modric as an example. Modric signed for good numbers of years. I think Modric contract is supposed to round up by 2029, 28, 29 thereabouts. Meaning even after he served his suspension, I think he have 2 years more in Chelsea. But here is the good side. Here is the bad side of it. Chelsea has paid Modric some money before now. Modric has not paid Chelsea back by his performance and this and this and that. So Chelsea is going to lose from there. But again, the other good side for Chelsea on that contract will be Chelsea can sue Modric because according to the contract, you're not going to cut your contract before your contract will expire. You will have to stay away from some drugs. You will have to stay away from other stuff. Now, Modric couldn't do that on the bargain. So Modric is supposed to pay Chelsea back everything Chelsea has paid him. That is what I heard. I'm not too sure if it's correct. Let me use the word alleged. So that's what I heard. So Modric is supposed to pay Chelsea. But now, even if he can't even pay Chelsea all the money Chelsea has paid him, Modric will still pay fine. So it's like a win-win on Chelsea and a lose on Chelsea too because of the contract, numbers of the contract years, which Modric couldn't fulfill in Chelsea. Now, let me use Caicedo, for example. I think Caicedo signed 7 years or 8 years thereabout. 3 years or 2 years to when he's rounding up his contract. Chelsea can increase his contract and his buyout clause. Now, if Chelsea get tired of everything, Chelsea can still even sell him and Chelsea will gain more because of the buyout clause. So, the way some people will tell you that Chelsea contract is a death row contract. So sometimes Chelsea can really gain from it. All the players can gain from it. Like as I said earlier, I will say it again. These people are not fools. For them to come out with such a contract structure, they must have consult with experts in economics and this and this and that. So I just want to I put it it's a case of 50-50. Let's see how it goes. But again, let's not forget some other clubs are emulating Chelsea right now. Liverpool, for example. I think Arsenal, for example. That's why Arsenal can hit my chest and tell people today, Arsenal they are not going to spend that money for Gokares or for Sesko. They are going for the likes of
Jackson.
Madueke. Jackson is a rumor. I did my research this morning, so I couldn't find anywhere where they said Arsenal for Jackson. But for Madueke right now, yes, they are going for Madueke. For Jackson, we're not too sure for now. So let's see how it goes. As I said earlier, as time goes on, I know there are some clubs who will start doing this Chelsea death row system of contract.
All right. Yeah, you don't really hit the nail on the head. You have actually explained a whole lot on concerning this whole thing as well. So let me hear from Oga Akpos. What do you think about this whole contract situation? Because currently now there are so many clubs now that actually wants to emulate Chelsea. Maybe they have not actually started because most clubs are actually scared of Real Madrid actually coming for their players, like what they did, like Arnold and all of that. So most of them are actually scared this whole living on the free thing, So do you think this particular strategy of keeping keeping players in for like 7 years, do you think this is going to be sustainable? Do you think other clubs will also key into this kind of system that Chelsea are actually doing right now?
Well, I think the big number of years on player signing contract, I think it favors the clubs. The clubs are the people who are on the advantageous side when it comes to this decision. So as long as as long as it continues, the clubs would also love it. But I think it's the players who, on the other hand, would not smile to it, because the clubs, like you rightly mentioned, I don't know who said it when they were giving their points, the clubs wants to secure their asset, which is what every good businessman would do, because you want to make sure that the investment made on that asset, you will get some returns from it. Like financial people will say your ROI. So I think every club wants to make sure that when the player is leaving, the player would potentially leave for their own valuation of the player, not the player's valuation or any other club's valuation, or that player working potentially on a free. I think you guys have already explained how this thing works. If the player eventually comes into the club at with that small weekly wages, and the player hits the ground running immediately and delivers and show workings, as people will say it in pidgin, that player would definitely get some reward over time, and the club would also increase the evaluation of that player. Because let's use Cole Palmer for example. When Cole Palmer signed for Chelsea, Chelsea's valuation for him after the first season, it's not the valuation now. Palmer's valuation has definitely gone up, because they have seen the development of this player as a player who came into the Chelsea team as someone who was coming, relatively fresh from the Man City academy into a starter in a top 4 Premier League team right now, in a Champions League Premier League team. So definitely Cole Palmer's valuation has gone up. So the clubs will love deals like that. The clubs will want to make sure that they secure their asset. No club wants to see their player, their prize asset, walk away on a free transfer. So for the clubs, as long as the regulatory bodies, the FIFAs, the UEFA, the other bodies that make these laws, as long as they 5-7 years contract duration, these clubs will want to see them continue. And as a fan of a football club, you also want to see that these players are spending this long time at your football club. So I think the club love it, and let's see how it happens. But for players are the one who will be a little bit on the receiving end. Let's say a player like Madueke, for example, who joined Chelsea, and we could see that his development is not going very well for him now. He'll be wanting to move potentially, but Chelsea have more say in every negotiation, because he has a good number of years left on his contract. But if it was a short deal, let's say a 2-3 years deal that he signed, or a 4 years deal, I think he will have more say. But when you factor the number of years that he have left Chelsea has definitely got the stronger ground when it comes to the negotiation. So I think the clubs definitely love it right now. Chelsea are doing it. Barcelona are also doing it with their young players, giving them long duration with the contract and a big buyout clause. They usually put that £1 billion buyout clause.
Yeah.
So definitely clubs love this kind of deals.
All right. See, you've actually explained a whole lot concerning this. So let's move quickly concerning the current signings of Chelsea. Coming into this summer, the transfer window for the Club World Cup was actually opened for like 10 days thereabouts, and we're given the leverage to actually sign players, for clubs actually going to the Club World Cup. And Chelsea made a particular signing in attack, which is Liam Delap. Now, for Liam Delap, initially we had Jackson, who is still currently in the team, and Chelsea fans were crying out for a marquee signing. Chelsea fans were crying out for Osimhen, for Sesko, for Gyökeres, those big names, in particular. Now, this particular signing Chelsea made, which is Delap. To you now, Christian, do you think this guy is going to cook in Chelsea? Do you think he's going to, score goals, win Chelsea trophies, and take Chelsea to where they actually belong in terms of the striking department?
To me, sincerely, my brother, I don't think so. You feel me? One, I will tell you, Chelsea need a proven, experienced, and a prolific striker. Goal poacher. Liam is just another young Chelsea, potential striker or potential player. Let me put it that way. We want, I tell you, do you know when Drogba Day, Aneka Day, you feel me? Drogba Day, Fernando Torres. You know who be Fernando Torres that time? He did. So you I don't know whether you understand. So what thing they do Chelsea? That's why I tell you.
The rest.
Yeah, that caliber of striker.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but if we talk of if Liam, whether a good signing, I will tell you for how many goals he has. 14 goals for a relegated team. I will tell you Liam now, like, if I go tell you the real truth, now another Jackson, we get sense, we go fit score. They feel me. If we are looking for a striker, if you want to go further, like if you want to win trophies this season, somebody like Osimhen, somebody like Gyökeres, all those are proven strikers. Liam is just another talent with a little experience, and I will tell you 40% from Liam Delap. That's what I will say.
All right. So apart from Liam Delap, Chelsea are still interested in, according to the reports right now, Chelsea are still interested in other strikers if eventually any other player leaves in attack. Now, so do you think Chelsea should actually stick with these two players, Delap and Jackson, or do you think probably Jackson should leave and Chelsea should sign another potential striker, probably a marquee signing like we all wanted?
To me, in anything we are doing, we shouldn't let Jackson leave. I will tell you, Jackson hold up play is top notch. I will tell you the truth. He's just senseless with goals. He has no clue on how to put the ball in the back of the net. But he has a good hold up play. He has a build up play as well. He knows how to make decisions. Yeah. But for getting another striker, I won't say anything until we have our outgoings. Until we sell player before I go fit talk, say yes, he don't do for striker. If we no go sell any player, then we are good with Jackson. We are good with Jackson and Gyökeres. But if any attacker is leaving, we should bring in another strong attacker. Okay, you want to tell me you want to believe in 20 league assists from Gittens? No, now I don't see that coming. I don't see that I'm not. I don't think that one will be realistic. Sef 20 assists. You know, Gittens sef they go to change them. So I don't think say if you provide them. Now my
All
own
right.
take be that, Sha.
So yeah, concerning the current rumors right now saying Chelsea might actually let one or two players actually leave, on the market right now, and the only player right now that is really really, realistic that he might leave is Noni Madueke. Now, to Oga, of course, as an Arsenal fan, all
Yeah,
right, would you like or would you love to have that kind of caliber of player in your team? He loves to play on the right wing, that where
yeah.
Bukayo Saka actually plays right now.
Mm.
Do you think if he comes, he will get enough playing time? And do you think he fits your system? Do you think he will have that enough playing time to actually play? Because at this point, Bukayo Saka is like the face of Arsenal. Keeping him on the bench is
Yeah.
like a taboo,
Poster boy.
to the Arsenal
Mm.
team and to the coach.
Mm.
So do you think Noni Madueke will have, because you're going to spend more than 50 million or 50 million pounds for him? Do you think he's the right player right now you need on the market? Because right now, Arsenal fans, Arsenal as a team needs squad depth. Having that kind of
Mm.
player in the team would actually affect the Arsenal team. Will actually, help, because Bukayo Saka cannot play the whole team. Look at what happened last season when he left, during injuries and all of that. He was absent for the team. There was nobody to actually come into, to be that kind of a player that would take the drive the
Coming for
Arsenal
Saka, yeah.
to drive the Arsenal project forward. Do you think having Noni Madueke in your team will be a big boost and will actually fetch you trophy at the end of the day?
Well, for me, the only Madueke links for me, I would want to take it as paper talks. I want to take it as agents trying to get their player a move. I would not want to think that Arsenal realistically think Noni Madueke is a player that would come into Arsenal and make any impact, because I look at Noni Madueke and coupled with the fees you have been mentioning with respect to Noni is not a level raiser for Arsenal in any position. He's not a level raiser on the left wing. He's not a level raiser on the right wing. So I would not spend myself. Let me just be honest. I would not spend 30 million pounds on Noni Madueke, because I look at him just like you rightly said. I would not spend 50 million for a bench player. I would not spend 30 million for a player that's going to sit on the bench, because if Noni comes to Arsenal, he's definitely going to play second fiddle to Bukayo Saka, and it's not a left wing specialist. So where do you want him to play? So for me, I think even Noni would not even want to move to Arsenal, because he knows that if he goes to Arsenal, he will sit on the bench, because Saka is the poster boy of the club. Saka is the talisman of the club. Saka will play all the big games. Saka will play as much games as possible. But I I totally agree that Arsenal do need a player that will come in and rotate for Saka, a player that would come in some games that, with games that we have already won. We need Saka to rest. We need that player to come in and get some minutes. Yes, we definitely need a player in that mode. But Noni Madueke, for me, I was telling somebody earlier on, also on my stream, that Noni Madueke is a Martinelli Pro Mask, a Martinelli that can dribble. Yes, he's very direct. He's a player that can, cover space, a good carrier of the ball. I'll give him credit for that. But Noni Madueke frustrates a lot of Chelsea fans and frustrates football lovers with his decision making. Where people have problem with Noni Madueke is his decision making in the final third. If you check the statistics last season, Noni Madueke was one of the players who had the most number of touches inside the 18-yard box. But let us check his end product. Let's check his goals. Let's check his assists. So if Noni Madueke can get these things right, he would become a top tier winger, in my opinion. But he does not know when to shoot. He does not know when to, pass the ball. He does not know when to dribble sometimes when he gets into this dangerous position. So I think his decision making is what lets Noni Madueke down. But he's a decent player. He's the player that I've liked from his time at PSV Eindhoven. While he was playing straight at the Eredivisie. So for me, Noni Madueke is not a bad player, but he is not a level raiser for Arsenal. He's not a player that will spend 30 million pounds on right now, because if he comes, like you rightly said, he will sit on the bench. So the only thing that makes sense with the links of Noni Madueke to Arsenal is cover for Saka. But am I willing to spend that kind of money for a cover for Saka? I would say no. I think there are players who Arsenal could potentially get for a lesser fee compared to Noni Madueke out there. Potentially, I'm even willing to bring in a player from the academy like Ethan Nwaneri as a backup for Saka, in my opinion. So that's the way I see it. Noni Madueke for me is not a level raiser. I think what Arsenal needs right now are level raisers, players who would come in and increase the level. Noni Madueke cannot push Saka for a starting shirt in that Arsenal right side. So Arsenal could potentially, even if they want to bring in a backup, a player that can push Saka, a player that can get Saka to hit the 20-goal mark, a player that when Saka, look at this player in training, that's okay, somebody has come to compete in my shirt for me, and get Saka to go to the next tier level. So I think that's the kind of signing Arsenal should be looking to make, and not Noni Madueke, in my opinion.
All right. So you made mention of Nathan Nwaneri. I think, to my own opinion, I think he has not been given enough trust from Mikel Arteta. Yes, he's still a 17, 18-year-old player who has the world, ahead of him. He still needs to acquire a lot of experience, to carry a team like Arsenal going forward and all of that. Now, Nathan Nwaneri, as an Arsenal fan, this is one of a potential star boy, in the making. Do you think he should go on loan, or he should be kept in the squad to actually acquire experience and to play as a second fiddle to Bukayo Saka?
Well, I think you are picking my brain, Mike, because this is what I was just telling somebody on WhatsApp shortly before I came on the stream. I think it was a suggestion by my fellow Arsenal fan that said he feels that Ethan Nwaneri should go on loan. And I concurred. I said that if the manager, Mikel Arteta, does not trust him enough, because from last season, some of the way Mikel Arteta handled him, I was upset. I even got into a couple of arguments with some of my fellow Arsenal fans who are big fan of Arteta, because I felt like the manager has not really given this guy enough room. Because at the start of last season, when we let Fabio Vieira go, when we let Emile Smith-Rowe go, I said, okay, Ethan Nwaneri was going to be the next in line in terms of that attacking midfield position. But when Martin Odegaard was injured, I think that thought was pushed back with how the coach did not give him a starting shirt in that attacking midfield position up until when Bukayo Saka was injured and his hand was forced. He had no other option than to play a left-footed player there on that right side. So for me, I agree with everybody that will say Mikel Arteta has not given Ethan Nwaneri enough time to show what he can do. There were some games last season where I thought that Ethan Nwaneri should have been given minutes, or should have been brought in early to try to impact the game or try to, change the result. So for me, I think if the manager does not trust him enough to play him more, definitely we need to send him on loan to a club where he would get more minutes to aid his development, because I'm very big when it comes to player development for these young players. So I think Ethan Nwaneri should be given more minutes. But if the manager does not trust him enough, if the manager feels like he's not ready, which I would say I strongly disagree with, is the best decision for the player's development, the best decision for the club is to send Ethan Nwaneri on loan so that it could be developing at a club where we get week in, week out minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah. Christian, so before you leave, right, what do you think about this current João Pedro now as a young player coming into Chelsea? Initially, he was signed by Watford, and he did so well at Watford. They relegated down to the Championship, and in the Championship he played so well, brought them up. He played so well, and he was bought by Brighton. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Now this is a 21, 22-year-old, if I'm not mistaken, player, a Brazilian who has a little bit of Brazilian flair, and he's very good with goal scoring. He can play in multiple positions. He can play, up front. He can play left wing, right wing, and he's a versatile player. He's a young player. He fits the project. He fits the structure. He fits how Chelsea actually wants to sign players going forward. Now Chelsea fans have been asking for big signings. Chelsea fans have been asking for Nicholas Jackson's replacement, a very, very huge player, the Gokores, the Seskos, the Osimhens, and all of that. Now, bringing João Pedro now into the mix, that's to tell you, and that's a clear indication that our owners and the sporting directors does not buy the idea of the Chelsea fans at all. Now, this came out of the blue. Chelsea we didn't even have any idea concerning the fact that Chelsea are even interested in him as of this time last week. The whole news just pop up, and it was like a lightning. It was as quick as possible. Just signed in João Pedro. Now, before Chelsea signed João Pedro, it was linked with Newcastle, and according to the reports we got, that he was inching towards coming to Chelsea. And right now, him signing for Chelsea simply means he's going to play this Club World Cup, during the next match with Palmeiras. With João Pedro coming into this team, do you think it will make any difference? Do you think it will be able to impact the team, in goal scoring, in goal scoring, the style of play? And would you think you'll be able to fit the project on what Chelsea are trying to do right now?
Yes, I'll tell you, yes. For the project, he will succeed. But one thing I understand my coach for is managing injuries. Do you know João Pedro is also injury prone?
Yeah.
Yeah, he always battle with injuries. Before he play 10 match now, he don't get knock. Before he play 10 match, he don't get knock. So, but I know he will strive. He's a good addition for the team. Anyways, he's a good addition. Supporting Liam. I don't know how our Maresca will do this one. I don't know how he will play them. But I know one will have to go to the left. I know one time maybe Jackson will play from the left or JOAO will play from the left. But if JOAO is going to be a good addition, or if he's a good addition, yes. If he's going to poach goal, yes. He's a very, very proven striker. He did it at Watford. He did it at Brighton. He's going to try. He's going to strive. I know for sure. He's going to strive. But I don't see... I'm still trying to calculate. I'm still trying to see how Maresca is going to play him, Jackson, and Liam. Because I know one will be demoted. You understand? One will be demoted to FA Cup, Carling Cup, just like Nkuku. You understand? But I don't know. Let's see, Sha.
Okay, now concerning this whole, João Pedro thing, because to me, I think, in as much as we Chelsea fans don't actually rate this style of signing players, it is our new reality. Like I said in my video yesterday, is our new reality. We Chelsea fans just have to accept the fact that this is how business will be conducted going forward. This was not how it was during Abramovich era. Not be like this to be at the time, because Abramovich actually goes for experienced players, goes for players who will deliver right now. Like, this is the time. This is what we need for.
Yes.
ASAP, you understand? But this is a different thing entirely. This is a different, style of signing players, entirely, like Apostle said initially. But for João Pedro, I think he's going to do well. Why? Because he's not coming as a first 11 player. I think the pressure on him will be actually reduced. Yes, he's coming with a huge reputation, coming from Brighton and all of that. He's a 60 million pound player. He's a Brazilian international and all of that. I understand that for a fact. But the thing is, I think it was going to be the Nkunku replacement, because trust me, Nkunku is going to leave definitely after the Club World Cup and everything. Nkunku is going to leave Chelsea. I think João Pedro is being signed as an Nkunku replacement, thereby playing at the back of Cole Palmer, meaning if Cole Palmer is probably tired or not being in the first team, or probably injured or something, that is where João Pedro will actually come in. And also, João Pedro is a utility player. I always say this in my videos, that Chelsea directors and Chelsea sporting directors, the owners and everything, they are always buying players that are versatile. They could play in any week. They could play in top 9, left wing, right wing, any positions that can actually fit. Because Chelsea last season suffered a whole lot when it comes to injury problems. At some point, Jackson got injured. At some point, Maguire also got injured. We were only left with Nkunku, and Nkunku could not, actually, play the Maresca style. So it actually affected Chelsea a whole lot last season. Now, going forward, the only reason we're actually signing this João Pedro is because of his versatility. Yes, he's good. He's talented, no doubt. But he could bring a different level of versatility into the team, whereby he can play in the left wing, the right wing, top 9, and also the right wing. And let's not forget something. Jackson will leave during December for the Nations Cup. And if Jackson leaves,
Wow.
we will be left with Delap. All right. And Delap alone cannot do it. So we need somebody to actually play as a second fiddle to Delap. And the only person that can do it right now at this point will be João Pedro, because he can play at that position very well. So I think the Chelsea's owners and the sporting directors have actually thought about this whole thing like, okay, let's sign this particular player in terms of versatility. And that is the more reason why Chelsea are interested in Ekitike at the time, because initially,
Yeah.
the only reason Chelsea were put off by Ekitike was because of this 100 million request from Eintracht Frankfurt. Let's not forget, Eintracht Frankfurt has sold players in an expensive way and expensive price. Jovic, he went from Eintracht Frankfurt to Real Madrid, if you remember Jovic at the time. Now they sold Kolomwani, let's not forget, to PSG for a very huge amount of money. They sold Mamouche. All right. Also, so they are a kind of thing that demands a whole lot when it comes to signing players. All right. So I'm not surprised that they are demanding a whole lot when it comes to Ekitike right now. But Ekitike aside now, we are talking about João Pedro. I think he's going to do in Chelsea. I think he's going to cook in Chelsea. Now, Chelsea are also interested in another player right now. So that simply means Chelsea are not done on the market. So you, of course, as an Arsenal fan, I know you would love to have this player in your team, Mohamed Kudus. How good is this player? How good is he? Will he fit? Because right now, the only two clubs that are actually interested in him is Tottenham and Arsenal. How good is this player? Do you think he's going to fit in Chelsea? Or do you think Tottenham should buy him? And why do you think Tottenham should actually buy this player? Please let me know.
Well, for me, I think Kudus is going to be. You talked about the versatility of João Pedro the other time and how he could play multiple wing. I think multiple wings. Mohamed Kudus is also a player in that mode because he could also play potentially as an attacking midfielder and number 10 for you. Can also play on the right wing and sometimes can get the job done on the left wing, but I don't fancy him playing on the left wing. But Kudus is a utility player for me, and is the top talent, is the top player, is a player that could potentially, if he gets his consistency, he could hit good numbers of goals, good numbers of assists in a season stretch. So Mohamed Kudus for me, I think is going to be a top signing for eventually any club that gets him. Chelsea are also, one of the clubs that have been mentioned with Mohamed Kudus, but if we want to be very realistic, if we want to, call a spade, if Mohamed Kudus goes to Chelsea right now, I think he would meet a lot of competition in terms of players that are playing in this position, in the position that I think you will see the best of Mohamed Kudus. In the number 10 position, he has got Cole Palmer there to compete with him. He has got João Pedro there, who is also a new signing to compete with him. And he has got Esteval, the boy coming from Palmeiras, also there to compete with him in the number 10 position. And if he goes to the right wing, he has got João Pedro, who is Chelsea's best winger right now. I think one of my favorite players to watch from Chelsea, I think is a joy to watch. Pedro Neto there on the right wing, who is a baller. You also got Kopama there, who can also play there on the right wing if need be. Esteval can also play there on the right wing if need be. So for me, I think if he goes to Chelsea, there's going to be a lot of players competing with him. If he goes to Tottenham, for example, I think if he stays fit, he gets a lot of minutes in the number 10 position because Madison is a player who gets injured a lot. Madison is a player who's not, availability is a problem for Madison, even though we know Madison is the top midfielder, the top baller. But in terms of the number 10 position, I think Mohamed Kudus will get a lot of minutes there. And also on the right wing, Kulusevski is there, I think is the main guy that would, give him a run for his money on the right wing because what's his name? The other young player, Brenderson, the other young winger there on the right. I think Kudus is way better than him on the right wing. So I think if he goes to Tottenham Hotspur, he gets a lot of minutes. I think Tottenham Hotspur is is the club that I think, if we want to look at the footballing aspect of it, where it could get more game time, because next year is also a World Cup year. It would want to be showing the coach of the Black Stars of Ghana that this is what I can do week in, week out. So I think if he goes to Tottenham, he gets more minutes. If he comes to Arsenal on the right wing, we know he's going to play second fiddle to Bukayo Saka. And also in the midfield, he's going to compete with Martin Odegaard. So Arsenal, there are two very key established players that will be competing for these positions with. But if he's ready to play second fiddle, I think Arsenal is the move for him that I guess could potentially, uplift and raise the level of creativity in that Arsenal midfield, because I think the Arsenal midfield is currently lacking in creative players. I would welcome a Mohamed Kudus signing, but if I want to, look at the player from the African perspective, if the African in me wants to talk, I think Kudus should go to a club where it would get more game time. And I think that club right now, it's Tottenham Hotspur. I think this is also something that I touched on my stream that just ended a couple of minutes ago. So I think if he wants to go to a club that will play more, get more minutes every week, I think Tottenham is the club for him. If he wants to go to a club where he could potentially, be challenging to win the Premier League, or he could go and add more value into the squad depth, into the squad quality in terms of creativity, I think it should go to Arsenal. Because I think if you go to Chelsea also, Chelsea, he would meet a lot of competition there in that number 10 and right wing position, in my opinion.
Yeah, you've actually said a whole lot concerning Kudus. That's a very, very good a very good player per se. He's a very versatile player. Like I said earlier, Chelsea are actually interested in versatility, going up front, getting into the new season. And I think Kudus will actually fit the Chelsea system. Now to you, Christian, like concerning Kudus, do you think this is the best player we need right now at Chelsea to actually drive the whole, Chelsea project forward and going into the Champions League season?
To me, I will tell you, we don't need Kudus. He's a fine player, a very good player. For crying out loud, we have Estaval coming in. Very good baller. Very, very good baller. We have Estaval. I've watched that guy severally for Palmeiras. That guy is very, very good. So I don't think Kudus is a very good player, and he can play in the middle. And also sometimes he do play for from the left for West Ham. So I think I don't want to bring in any African player. I mean, I know they do sentiment for all those ones. I know they bring love when it comes to my football club. You understand me? I think Tottenham is the best team for Kudus. But the problem is he will not win anything there. But make it a good year. Now he pay him. Because we have Pedro Neto, we have Madueke, and we have this guy coming in, this Estaval. I just can't wait to see that boy play football. I just can't wait for that boy to play. And remember, if João Pedro comes in, if we are playing João Pedro, sometimes Palmer will have to go from the right. I hope you know. So I think Kudus, for the best, he should just go to Tottenham and not Chelsea, for me.
Okay, now concerning Estaval, this is like a potential star boy already in the Brazilian national team. He's already in the Brazilian national team at 17-year-old. He's a player who loves to play on the flank and also loves to cut in and play in the midfield. And as we know, Enzo Maresca, he loves to play on the flank. He loves players who could actually, do well within 1v1 and 1v2, playing from the wings. Now, Estaval coming into Chelsea, I think the whole issue about putting so much pressure on players, I'm not of that opinion. I think this is a 17-year-old player who needs time to actually thrive. Yes, we have 17-year-olds who are actually doing it around Europe. We have the likes of Yemi Lamal that are actually doing it, but we don't have much of those kind of players. Now, for a 17-year-old player to actually come into Chelsea, you need to give that kind of player time to actually, acclimatize to the English game, to the physicality of the Premier League, to the new squad, to the style of play of Maresca and everything. That is one of the reasons I don't want Noni Madueke to leave, because we are going into this new season. You need squad depth. You are going to play in the Champions League, you're going to play in the Premier League, 38 games in the Premier League, the FA Cup is there, the Carabao Cup is there. These are competitions for these players to actually, show something and to thrive. Remember, going into the new season, there are going to be injuries, coming in. Their players are going to be out of form at some point. So letting players go, I don't think this is the best thing to do for this whole, like, I know most players actually wants to, play. Most players don't want to sit on the bench, but we also need score depth. One of the reasons Chelsea attack was actually not potent towards the end of the season, at some point was this whole thing of injuries, players out of form. Jackson was off at some point. So I think if Estaval comes in right now, the best thing Maresca could do is, to let him acclimatize, to let him, join, gradually, integrating gradually into the team. That's what I think. I don't know what you think. If you have any other opinion, you could, let me know. But this is what I think. This is my own personal opinion, that Estaval should be integrated gradually, into the team. Putting so much pressure on that player, it will only fold, with time. So that's what I think concerning Estaval. So now, moving forward, we're going to round up anytime soon. So moving forward, for Chelsea, Maresca has had a successful first season for Chelsea, and I think is an interesting one, because many fans and pundits and didn't really give him too much time coming into this season. Didn't give him too much confidence coming into this season. Where many fans saw him as an inexperienced coach. Many fans saw him as a coach who's like a Guardiola apprentice. Many fans, actually saw him as a coach who didn't really get enough time as a first team coach elsewhere before coming to Chelsea. Now, to me, this first season has been fantastic. He did what he was supposed to do, get Chelsea to the Champions League. At some point, Chelsea were actually second on the log for a long period of time before that December capitulation, at the time. So now, going into this second season for Maresca, as an Arsenal fan now, so now going into this second season for Maresca now, as an Arsenal fan, despite him being successful in the first season for Chelsea, he won the Conference League, he got Chelsea to the Champions League place and everything. Going into this second season for Maresca, because to you as an Arsenal fan, you've actually endured so much when it comes to managers, giving manager time, for them to actually, do well, for them to actually succeed, because Arteta has been there for 5 years. So the pressure right now just started mounting on Arteta.
Building up, yes.
Unlike initially, when he had time to actually, build the squad and everything, from 2020 up to this point. Now, having known that experience with Arteta going into this new season for Chelsea, do you think Chelsea give Maresca a particular a particular yardstick that you should win this particular trophy, you should do that? Do you think going into this new season he has to deliver at those particular, giving those particular yardstick? What do you think concerning Maresca going into the new season?
Well, going into the new season, I think, yes, the club need to set their targets for Enzo Maresca and tell him this is what we want from you. Last season, you won us a European trophy. This season, we want to go all the way to win the league. We want to go all the way to win the Champions League, for example. I think definitely they would give him some targets. They would give him some milestones, to meet up with. So, but when we are looking at the club's approach, I don't think these guys are ready also to win the league right now. I think they are still trying to go with the project. They are still hoping that some of these young players that they have invested a lot of money on would potentially hit their prime time at Chelsea, hit their prime form at Chelsea, and they would, the team would grow from a team that has got potential to a team that is filled with proven players that have shown their worth, that have shown their hands at Chelsea, and they potentially achieve a lot together. So, but yes, I think they will set targets for Maresca. But if we want to be realistic, the teams that are above Chelsea right now, they are, there's this gap. But the players that Chelsea have brought in are not players that would potentially close the gap. So I think their targets also for Enzo Maresca needs to be realistic, in my opinion, because Chelsea have not signed players that like a club that want to win the league. So for you to now be telling Enzo Maresca that I want you to win the league, that is, your statement in the transfer window does not match your ambition. So if you have big ambitions like that, you need to go out there and get the missing links in the equation right now. So I think Chelsea need proven. Chelsea has got a lot of potential players. They've got a lot of players that me personally, I'm an opposition fan, but as a fan of football, there are players that I love to watch in this Chelsea team. I like to watch Cucurella. I like to watch Moises Caicedo. I like to watch Cole Palmer. I like to watch Pedro Neto. You understand? So, but I think there are still players that, there are still elements that are lacking in this Chelsea teams. There are still players that the team needs to bring in to, elevate the level, to raise the bar, to raise the level from a team that is potentially finishing in a Champions League spot to a team that would win. So yes, the owners would want to give Enzo Maresca some targets, some milestones to meet. But I think what they have done in this transfer window, the hand that they have shown so far as a football lover who is very realistic, I think they have not shown ambition that they want to win the league. They've not shown that they want to win the Champions League. So how would you want to query the manager at the end of the day if he does not win the league? How would you want to query the manager at the end of the day if he does not, win the Champions League? So I think what Chelsea have got right now is a squad that could, potentially qualify again for Champions League come next season. I think like Chelsea has got the players, if they are consistent for a good period of time, they have got the players that Champions League qualification would not be a problem, and maybe nick a trophy during one of these cup competitions here or there, maybe the FA Cup, maybe the Carabao Cup. But the Champions League, I don't think Chelsea can match some of those big teams when push comes to shove in the knockout football stages. We saw what happened to Arsenal against PSG. There's a certain level when you go to the Champions League, they will differentiate the boys from the men in terms of the football quality on the pitch. So I think yes, Chelsea, might want to go far in the Champions League, but my advice for a Chelsea fan is this next season you are not going to win the league. You are not going to win the Champions League. Yes, you have an opportunity to pick one of the trophies thereabouts, but I think on a very realistic point of view, Chelsea can qualify for Champions League next season. I think that should be what should be asked of Enzo Maresca. I don't think the owners of this club has given the manager the tools that I need to potentially go out there to win the Premier League. So I think Champions League qualification is a very realistic target to set for Enzo Maresca next season, and maybe one of the cup competition, maybe the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup.
Yeah, so you said a whole lot concerning the whole Maresca thing, because you don't need to, like, normally when you sign coaches, you give them targets. It's normal. Now, going by what Maresca did last season, at some point Chelsea was second on the league. People were saying, Chelsea fans were saying at the time that
I was also very impressed, and I told you, Mike.
Yeah. Most of the time we had live, together. I actually explained, the whole Maresca thing to you and everything. Most of the thing that actually, made Chelsea last season didn't actually take that step further in winning the league. When Chelsea needed experience, there was none in the squad at the time. Because this is where it all boils down to experience. It all boils down to player availability. It all boils down to the willingness of the players to actually take a step further, to actually go further in winning the league or winning the trophy. To me, I think at the time it was too early for Maresca to put out the whole thing of we are not in the title race. It was too early for him to say that at the time. For a coach, most of the time, you can be 9-0 down or 5-0 down at first half. You can't go into the dressing room and say, we have lost the match. We have lost the match. Just go into the team. We just go into the pitch and just play anything you like. At least give that level of confidence to your players that, okay, yes, we are losing 4-0 right now, but I believe in you guys. Anything can happen in football. You guys can. You guys can. I think that was where the inexperience of Maresca actually came in last season. And because of the fact that we didn't have enough experience in the squad, he actually affected Maresca. He affected him as a manager that was not experienced. So he affected the whole squad, the whole enthusiasm of the team and everything. So going forward, this new season, I think he has to take out that mentality of the fact that we are not in for the squad or we are not in for the Premier League. We don't want to win the league and everything. Now, as a rival fan now, I know you don't want Chelsea to actually win a trophy currently, but that being said, Chelsea are on the right path in this Club World Cup. With the exit of Manchester City last night or early this morning, and with the exit of Inter Milan on that Chelsea's path right now. Do you think playing against Palmeiras, Chelsea can actually stand a chance? Why? Because also I don't want to underrate anything.
True.
Flamengo has actually beaten Chelsea already. That's a Brazilian team.
One Brazilian team.
In this competition. Now, Chelsea are going to play Palmeiras. Al Hilal are going to play Fluminense. So we have two Brazilian teams already, on this Chelsea path, to the final. If Chelsea beats Palmeiras, Chelsea are going to play against either Al Hilal or Fluminense, and you could see how Fluminense have a 42-year-old goalkeeper. Fluminense have a 41 or a 40-year-old defender in Thiago Silva. So they have a whole lot of experience in that team, and they have actually defied so many odds because this team has been fantastic. To beat a UEFA Champions League finalist 2-0 last night, that is you sending a statement out there that you're a very big team, you're a good team, from the Brazilian league, and you have the potential to actually win the trophy. All right. So now Chelsea's pathway to Chelsea fans, we think the coast is actually clear. But trust me, it's not going to be an easy one. But to you, do you think Chelsea have the potential, to actually go all the way, to win the Champions League? Because the exit of Manchester City, the exit of Inter Milan actually paved the way right now for Chelsea, on this Chelsea's path to the final. So 2012, so many clubs didn't give Chelsea the chance to actually win the Champions League. They thought Chelsea won't, win it against Bayern Munich. They thought Chelsea stood no chance. In 2021, so many fans thought Chelsea stood no chance to win against Manchester City. So whenever Chelsea is being written off, Chelsea, take it a step further. Do you think Chelsea stand a chance currently to win the Club World Cup? The first
definitely
of the Club World Cup.
Well, definitely every team stand a chance, and Chelsea have shown that they can do it in a difficult moment. We saw that when that game went to extra time, when Benfica equalized, Chelsea dug deep and they showed that we can also do it in the storm. We can also do it when the conditions are difficult, and Chelsea got past Benfica after a fantastic display in the extra minutes of that game. So I think the Chelsea players, I will give them credit because they've bounced back after the defeat from Flamengo. A lot of people thought that after that could make their head drop a little bit, but I think they are also showing on the pitch that they want it. They want to win this competition. They want to be in this competition. They want to be among the best teams in the world. They want to continue playing there in the competition in America. So yes, I think Chelsea has got an outside chance because a lot of people did not give Chelsea that chance going into the competition that Chelsea could go all the way when you look at some of the teams that were potentially in that pathway. So, but now with the outstar of Inter Milan and of Manchester City, which came as a surprise, I think now Chelsea, if they dig deep, they could potentially get all the way to the final. But then Chelsea needs to not underrate any of these oppositions. First, Chelsea do not need to underrate Palmeiras. Palmeiras are a good side. They are going to play expansive football. They are going to come with the intensity. They are going to come with the flair. So I think Chelsea need to take it one game at a time. Do not think about what's going to happen with what's the name? Fluminense and Al Hilal first. I think, Fluminense and Al Hilal. Chelsea need to beat the team in front of them, which is Palmeiras. So I think one game at a time. If Chelsea dig deep, I think Chelsea has got the quality. Chelsea has got, that a little bit of difference in quality, but I would not want to disrespect the Brazilian giant Palmeiras. They have got very good players. They have got Estavo, who is on the Chelsea book. I don't know how Chelsea fans would see it if it potentially go out there and score a goal against Chelsea. I think, it's going to be a bitter pill for Chelsea fans to swallow. But for me, I think if Chelsea do not underrate Palmeiras and they show that desire I saw during the extra time against Benfica, I think Chelsea could go out there and potentially beat Palmeiras. But I'm also interested to see how the Chelsea midfield would function in the absence of Moises Caicedo, because I think Moises Caicedo will be a big loss for Chelsea because he's going to miss that game with respect to that yellow card they pick up against Benfica in the last game. So I think in the absence of Moises Caicedo, who I feel like is the man who makes everything tick in that Chelsea midfield, I want to see how the likes of Enzo Maresca, the likes of Remo Lavia would coordinate things in the midfield, because I think if Chelsea are able to control the midfield, then Chelsea have won one of the key battles in that game. I think one of the ways Chelsea defeated Benfica in most part of the game is because Chelsea had the keys to the midfield. Chelsea made sure that Benfica were not able to play in the midfield. Chelsea won all the midfield duels, majority of the midfield duels, all the midfield battles. So I think that was one of the ways Benfica lost the game. So if Chelsea would be able to replicate that, what they did very well against Benfica, against Palmeiras, by winning the midfield battle in the absence of Moises Caicedo, I think the Brazilians will have a difficult game in their hands, and we have a long day at the office for them. So, but it will be an interesting game. It will be an interesting battle. I'm expecting to see the Brazilians come with that flair, come with that aggressiveness. They are not going to be bullied that day. They're not going to be bullied in the 50-50 tackles, in the physical battles, in the physical duel. So for me, I'm looking forward to what's going to happen in that game, and I think it's going to be an interesting match of football. I think it's going to be a game where we will potentially see more goals. I think we'll potentially see maybe 2 to 3 goals in that game. But yes, some people are saying the Brazilian team do not concede a lot of goals. I think that's something Chelsea needs to be wary of. Brazilian teams do not usually concede a lot of goals because they are ready to work hard. They are ready to suffer. If you want to, hold on to the possession, they are ready to, run. They are ready to press. So I think we have a good game of football on our hands. But I'm keen and eager to see how Chelsea, that Chelsea midfield would cope in the absence of Moises Caicedo, which I think could come back to on Chelsea in that game. But as a Chelsea fan, I know you are hoping that Enzo Maresca, Enzo Fernandez would step up to the occasion, will step up to the plate, and show that in the absence of Moises Caicedo, he will be the go-to guy in that midfield. But I think that is going to be a very interesting game, because the Brazilian teams, they have shown that they have come to play. They have come to play good football. They have come to score goals. They are not going to play second fiddle to anybody. So I think that game is going to be a battle between the South Americans and a battle between a seasoned European team, a seasoned European club like Chelsea, even though we know that some of these players are relatively very inexperienced in European football. But the Chelsea as a brand, Chelsea as a football club, in the last decade, Chelsea are one of the European powerhouses, in my opinion. So I think we have a very good game of football on our hands.
Yeah, you've actually said a lot. I think if Chelsea wins this particular tournament, Chelsea are going to send a warning to other teams in Europe, because they've actually written Chelsea off in a long period of time. Chelsea has not played in the Champions League for close to 3 years now. So, and most fans potentially doesn't rate Chelsea anymore like they used to. Why? Because of their new structure, the new project and everything. They see Chelsea as a team who just wants to, participate, in the probably, in this lower division, because Chelsea just won the Conference League from a Champions League side down to the European League side. Now, we didn't even play Europa League. We dropped down to the Conference League. At some point, Chelsea didn't even qualify, to Europe at all. Now, taking it a step further to go, over to the Club World Cup and win, I think it's going to be a very, very huge one for Chelsea. And I'm not taking anything away from the Brazilian teams. These Brazilian teams have actually represented the whole South American continent a whole lot this season, in this competition, because I'm going to talk about Botafogo, who defeated PSG, Palmeiras, who defeated I think they drew against Inter Miami, and they played so well. We have Fluminense, who defeated Inter Milan. We have who again have I not mentioned? Fluminense, Botafogo, who again? remind me, they are so good of a squad. Even Flamengo defeated Chelsea, at some point. So these guys are good, and that is a show of the Brazilian league that, apart from the top 5 leagues in the world, the Brazilian league have something to offer. The Brazilian leagues have so much talent in that continent that are actually wasting over there, because most fans are obviously looking at Spain, the La Liga, the Bundesliga, the Serie A, the Premier League, and like that. But there are other leagues that are doing so well. Before you could win the Copa Libertadores, you must be one of the best teams, already. Because see, these guys, they pure is it Jogo Bonito? They play pure football over there. Yeah, pure football over there in Brazil. So let's not take anything away from them. I think they're a very good side. Palmeiras, Fluminense, Botafogo, Flamengo, they've actually showcased a whole lot. Even River Plate also did well at some point, in this tournament. So kudos to them. I think Chelsea, it will be difficult, no doubt, because Chelsea have to bring their A game. And this is not the time for Maresca to actually show that he wants to try different structure, different strategy, different formations and everything. We are already missing an engine already in midfield in Caicedo. This is a very huge miss. This is a player who played 38 out of 38 matches last season in the Premier League for Chelsea. So he's ever present, is ever ready, available for Chelsea, in the Premier League and other competitions as well. So it's going to be a very huge miss for him. But the other positives also going into this game is the fact that Chelsea have Lavia, and Lavia have been playing fantastic in the last couple of games. Lavia is like another Caicedo in the team. Yes, we have Dario Esugo, we have Enzo Fernandez, we have Dario Esugo and Santos. These guys are not ready yet. They are still a young, promising player who are going to come into the team and with time going to do well. But trust me, I think this particular squad is capable. These particular players are capable of actually going all the way, to actually win this tournament. Not take anything away from Palmeiras. It's going to be a hard nut to crack, no doubt. But I think they are going to do well, and I think Chelsea might actually nick this one. It might be 2-1, it might be 3-1, but I think Chelsea are going to survive this particular scare and go all the way. We have a comment coming from Nick Wagner. He said, I think Chelsea can win the Club World Cup. It's possible. We are doing well at the moment, and I trust Maresca. I think this is a very what's the word now? This is a very positive Chelsea fan. This is a very optimistic Chelsea fan, because to me, I think with what Man City experienced and Inter Milan experienced last night, I think Chelsea have to be very wary of these teams, and I think it's going to be a very, very huge one. And congratulations to all Chelsea fans, because to get to this part of the tournament alone is not an easy feat already. So it is what it is. So we have come to the end of today's live stream. Thank you for everybody. This is my very first live stream officially. So I appreciate everybody who has actually joined me here. I'll be doing this probably once or twice weekly, and try to keep up the dates with it. And I'm so grateful for having you guys here. We're going to do this over and over again. If you also like to join the stream, please also reach out to me, so that when next I'm coming live, you have the opportunity to also be on live also with me to actually discuss football. We're not only going to be talking about Chelsea, we're going to be talking about Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Real Madrid, and other clubs as well. So thank you so much to Oga Paul. I really appreciate this, because I've been doing this with you since 2021 on your channel, and you've actually taught me a lot in this whole thing. You're one of the first people who actually give me that encouragement to actually do this, because we know this, we are all passionate about the game of football, and I say thank you so much for actually coming on my official first live, and to supporting this channel and supporting me in this quest to be on this particular platform. So thank you so much. Please tell my people where they can find you, and where they can actually reach out to you on as well.
Well, thanks for having me, my brother. I'm honored. I'm humbled to be on the inaugural stream on the channel. For people who do not know, Mike is one of the regular faces on my channel on Football in Pidgin, where we discuss football in our Pidgin dialect. So, but it's a good thing that Mike is also on his creator journey, is also on his YouTube journey, and I'm honored, I'm humbled to be opportune to be on the Inception stream. So, but if you've not subscribed to the channel, you need to click that subscribe button and turn on that notification button, because on this channel you will get undiluted and premium football content, whether it's stream, whether it's reels, whether it's videos. I think this is the right channel for you for all around everything football. Mike Way is the right channel for you. So do the channel a favor and support the fantastic work my brother is doing on this channel by subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification button, so you will be notified every time is live on the stream. You can find me on the channel because I've told Mike anytime he wants me on the channel, I'm eager, I'm always ready, to jump on the stream. You can find me here on the channel from time to time, and you can also find me on Football and Pitching on YouTube and across the different social media platform where I'm putting out football content. And don't forget to also follow Mike on the different social media platform, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook at Mike_Kicks. I think that's his username. Mike_Kicks. That's his username on the different social media platform. But thanks, my brother, for having me on the inaugural stream. I am honored to be part of this journey. I'm also humbled, to be here to talk about football with everybody that made today's stream a success. Coach Kester, Kristen, Nick on the chat, Lisa also on the chat. I'm honored to be on the channel. Thank you for having me, my brother.
Thank you so much. God bless you. So if you're not subscribed, please once again do well to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also share your thoughts in the comments as well, so that we could get to have a lengthy discussion concerning Chelsea and other club related issues and this transfer window. The transfer window is actually heating up right now, and there will be regular transfer going on in Europe and Asia and everywhere. So we'll always come on live to have the discussion concerning this. I put up 3 videos today on YouTube. Please do well to check that out. I put up a Liverpool striker market video because Liverpool are actually interested in Ekitike, Osimhen, and Isak. So I put up a video concerning that already today. I also put up a video concerning Chelsea interest in Kudus also, and also one other video as well today. So you can do well to check that out. Thank you so much for having me today, and we can do this again tomorrow, and we can do this again some other time rather. Thank you so much. Until I come away again next time, I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.